Nostradamus and the Planets of Apocalypse by Jason and Breshears, as read by Kevin Stevens, also known as Grendel Dark. Appendix. In When the Sun Darkens, we are provided with a fixed chronology of orbital passes through the inner solar system of planet Phoenix every 138 years. This astronomical timeline of 138-year orbits is unbroken to 2040 AD. In Anunnaki Homeworld, we are provided with the orbital chronology of planet Nibiru, a fixed 792-year orbit to 2046 AD. Nibiru's orbit is eccentric and unusually elliptical, more like a comet, traveling for 732 years outside of the solar system through the Kuiper Belt, but spending 60 years at its visitation as it orbits the Sun. These two planets mark the beginning and end of world chronology, a vast timeline understood by our predecessors. This chronology, entirely orbital, is now provided. The only dates listed are those when Phoenix and Nibiru discoveries not known when this author's prior books on these subjects were published. Fixed chronology of the world. 4309 BC. Phoenix appears in inner solar system during interplanetary cataclysm that leaves Earth in ruins, as depicted in Enuma Elish of Babylon, and Egyptian Gnostic texts Trimorphic Protenoi, and on the origin of the world. Phoenix is named in the Gnostic text. A dust cloud hides the sun at this time, according to Sumerian holy tablets, and Earth is frozen. This was the destruction of the pre-Adamic world hinted at in biblical passages. 4171 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 4033 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 3895 BC. Phoenix passes on 138-year orbit, appearing as a fiery flaming sword. Many historical texts describe celestial objects as flaming swords in the skies. In this year, mankind begins a prophesied 6,000 years of banishment that will end in 2106 AD. This began the original Hebrew calendar until rabbinical corruption. 3757 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 3619 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 3499 BC. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun before exiting. In the Holy Tablets, we find that the ancient Sumerians knew that Nibiru passes 60 years after it appears. 3481 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 3439 BC. Nibiru passes close to Earth as it exits solar system, completing 792-year orbit. Global disaster kills a third of humanity, according to Hebraic Book of Jasher. Haggadah texts. Babylonian tablets read that some of the Anunnaki descended to Earth at this destruction, and this is retold in the Book of Enoch. This is the first visitation of Mother Shipton's sky dragon. 3343 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 3205 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. This is the third year of Enoch's reign before the flood. Many ancient traditions link Enoch with the legends of the Phoenix. 3067 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 2929 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Before Phoenix returns, in 138 years, the entire Great Pyramid Giza complex would be constructed, requiring 90 years of building and quarrying. 2791 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 24 years after the completion of the Great Pyramid, Noah was 48 years old. 2707 BC. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. No records. 2653 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 2647 BC. Nibiru exits solar system, completing 792-year orbit. No records. 2515 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 300 years after completion of the Great Pyramid. 2377 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 2239 BC. Phoenix passes in direct transit after being seen by the people of Earth for 7 days, approaching like a fiery sword. The sun darkens. Quakes shake the world. A large meteorite or comet slams into North America and another into Central America, and the Great Flood lays the world waste for an entire year. Too many historical references to be mentioned here. 2101 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 1963 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 1915 BC. Nibiru enters solar system beginning 60-year pass around the sun. The ancients referred to it as a celestial dragon, or sky dragon, calling it Tiamat in Babylonia or Typhon in Egypt and the Aegean. It was a fiery red dragon that brought ruin to the earth, as also recorded in Hesiod's Theogony. This is Mother Shipton's second visitation of the sky dragon. 1855 BC. Nibiru exits solar system, completing 792-year orbit. No records. 1825 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. This is the final year of Abraham's ministry in Egypt at the Great Pyramid Complex and city of Anu, translating the antediluvian pre-flood records that were discovered there. This is the subject of this author's Lost Scriptures of Giza. 1687 BC. Phoenix passes 138 years in direct transit, darkening the sun and causing global earthquakes and floods that fell many of the ancient Old Bronze Age megalithic cities. This is 552 years after the flood. Disaster mentioned in the Book of Jasher, dated exactly by biblical chronologist Stephen Jones in Secrets of Time, described perfectly by W.J. Perry in Children of the Sun, by Augustine and Marcus Varro. In this year, it was seen and called Ninsiana by the Hittites. 1549 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 1411 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Israelites under Moses defeat the Amorites and kings, both giants named Sihon and Og of Bashan, descendants of the Anunnaki. Phoenix unseen. 1273 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. In this year, Assyria becomes an empire, annexing Babylon and adopting the winged disc, Phoenix, as their official seal. Obscuration of the sun, recorded in Annals of Hittite King Merciless II. 1135 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years, in direct transit, darkening the sun. It is recorded by Nebuchadnezzar I of Babylon and by the Egyptians at the death of King Seknakti, who wrote that the sun turned blood red and that dust blanketed the land. The sun darkened at this time during the war between the Tuatha De Danann and the giants in ancient Ireland. Archaix of the Argives, an astronomer, predicts the darkening of the sun accurately and is chosen to lead his people. This was 552 years after the 1687 Old Bronze Age cataclysm. 1123 BC. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. The broken planet cast a shadow over the Far East, and China was plagued by disasters ending the Shang dynasty. About 250,000 Chinese took to the Pacific and vanished into the Americas. This was the third visitation of the sky dragon mentioned by Mother Shipton. 1063 BC. Nibiru exits solar system after 60 years around the sun, completing 792-year orbit. No record. 997 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years, and there is much evidence from the Old Testament that David recorded the appearance of Phoenix in the Psalms. He was 42 years old. Scientists estimate that at this time, a meteorite struck North America in the Montana region. 859 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. First regnal year of Shalmaneser III of Assyria. At this year, Elijah the prophet challenged the prophets of Baal. Fire from heaven descended and burnt the prophet's sacrifice, which was followed days later by an earthquake. The phoenix is depicted on the famous black obelisk of Shalmaneser III. 721 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Augustine, relying on Varro, relates that a strange darkening of the sun occurred, but that it was not the moon. This corresponds to a major biblical event. Assyrian king Shalmaneser V sieged the Israelite city of Samaria in 723 BC. Sargon II of Assyria destroyed Samaria and enslaved the Israelites, deporting them to the northern and eastern frontiers of Assyria. 583 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years, in direct transit, darkening the sun, during a battle between the Lydians and Medes as recorded by Herodotus. This was 552 years after 1135 BC, when Nebuchadnezzar I ruled and recorded the appearance of Phoenix. Amazingly, in 583 BC, Nebuchadnezzar II was ruling over Babylon. Dailies of Miletus became famous for predicting the exact year the sun would darken, 583 BC. Japanese regnal lists began in this year. 445 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 331 BC. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. There are no record of its appearance, but in this most famous year in history, Alexander of Macedon defeats the Persian army in a battle of Gaugamela, becoming Alexander the Great. He becomes king of Greece, Egypt, Persia, and Babylon. 307 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. No records, but this is the same year that Asoka of India sends out 80,000 Buddhist missionaries all over the East, Middle East, and Mediterranean. 271 BC. Nibiru exits solar system after 60 years around the sun, completing its 792-year orbit. No records. 169 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 31 BC. Phoenix passes, 138 years. During the Battle of Actium between Octavian and Marcus Antony's forces, who were allied with Cleopatra of Egypt, a devastating earthquake afflicted Greece and Judea. Phoenix did not transit, falling out of alignment with Earth. This was 552 years after 583 BC. 31 BC is the final year engraved upon an Olmec date stele in Central America. 108 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 246 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 384 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 462 AD. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. No records. 522 AD. Nibiru exits solar system, passing closer to Earth while completing its 792-year orbit. Planet Phoenix also enters inner system and passes Earth, this being the only year in world history that two intruder planets enter the inner system in the same year. In this year, a series of destructive earthquakes afflict Olympia and Greece. This is the fourth visitation of Mother Shipton's Sky Dragon. 660 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Dark Ages, no records. 798 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Dark Ages. 936 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Dark Ages. 1074 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Dark Ages. 1212 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Middle Ages. 1254 AD. Nibiru enters solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. Middle Ages, no records. 1314 AD. Nibiru exits solar system after 60 years around the sun, completing 792-year orbit. Sun darkens over China. Earthquakes and lightning storms attended with plague fogs and flooding. Over Europe, the night sky is filled with a great blackness that blocks out the stars. This ends the period known as the Seven Comets over Europe. Meteorites crash into the Far East. Fifth visitation of Mother Shipton's Sky Dragon. 1350 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. 1488 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. Ursula Southhill, or Mother Shipton, is born. 1626 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years. New Amsterdam founded, later to be renamed New York. When Mother Shipton died in 1561, another famous person was born, Sir Francis Bacon. Intriguingly, in this year of 1626, Sir Francis Bacon now dies. Between the Phoenix visitations of 1488 and 1626, Mother Shipton was born, died, then Sir Francis Bacon is immediately born and then dies, with both lifespans falling within the 138 years. 1764 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years, and is seen by many thousands of people in Europe with the naked eye, as it darkened 1/5 of the sun's surface. It was also observed by the astronomer Hoffman through a telescope. 1902 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years, and blankets the Earth in thousands of tons of cosmic dust, some of it falling to Earth as mud. Phoenix brought with it Comet Morehouse. New York City boasts the world's first skyscraper, the Fuller Building. The Babylonian Anuba Elish is translated into English, concerns 4309 BC Phoenix cataclysm, and the Book of Enoch is also published in English. 1902 is specifically encoded in Nostradamus' writings. 2040 AD. Phoenix passes, 138 years in direct transit, darkening the sun and causing a pole shift. The Earth's lithosphere slips over the mantle as entire continents are moved from their places. Quakes, volcanoes, tidal waves, and electromagnetic storms are accompanied with meteoric rain and a dense blanket of dust falling from the skies, as the moon turns a dull red. The sixth seal of the apocalypse, a fourth of mankind dies. This is dated by Nostradamus, as discovered by Mario Reading. Coupled with 2046, this is the sixth visitation of the Sky Dragon, prophesied by Mother Shipton, the prophetess who believed that both global catastrophes will be caused by the same sixth Sky Dragon. 2046 AD. Nibiru enters the solar system, beginning 60 years around the sun. As it enters, it passes dangerously close to Earth and initiates a second interplanetary catastrophe as quakes, volcanoes, electromagnetic storms, meteoric fallout, and oceanic chaos kill a third of humanity that had survived the 2040 disasters 6 years earlier. This is the trumpet judgments of Revelation, dated by Nostradamus as discovered by Mario Reading. 2106 AD. Nibiru exits solar system after 60 years around the sun, completing its 792-year orbit. It is absolutely incredible that this is also the year 6000 from 3895 BC, when mankind was originally banished from paradise and when Phoenix appeared as a fiery flaming sword, symbol for judgment. The year 6000 brings Armageddon. As 3895 BC was not the beginning of humanity, merely the start of a timeline counting down to redemption, nor does the 6,000 years indicate an end to man. It is a beginning. As found in When the Sun Darkens, the 6,000-year timeline was dated and discovered by Stephen Jones and published in Secrets of Time, a man having no knowledge of planets Phoenix or Nibiru, but who dated the events of the Bible by cross-referencing them with historical sources and the Assyrian eponyms. Calendrical isometrics work because the synthesis of these two distinct orbital chronologies remain fixed over thousands of years because these timelines are astronomical. Planet Phoenix began a countdown to apocalypse, but planet Nibiru ends this pattern. The reader need realize that this chronology is by no means complete. Everything you have read was put together in a Texas prison cell. There will no doubt be many others who will come forth with findings and discoveries, further validating this thesis that the author was unaware of. In 1781, Immanuel Kant, in his Critique of Pure Reason, wrote, "The appearances of past time determine every existence in succeeding time, and that these existences, as events, cannot take place except insofar as the appearance of past time determine their existence in time, that is, fix it by a rule. This work is but an attempt."